The movie Silent Zone starts with a news anchor saying the police confirmed there are infected people inside the airport building who are super aggressive. And even though they tried hard to control it, 2 months passed and the outbreak didn't stop at all. It spread super fast. The symptoms show up in just a few minutes, and people turn into raging monsters that are really hard to control. The World Health Organization officially announced the outbreak has spread all over the world. Now we meet Luke, who was just sitting there watching cartoons on TV. But suddenly the broadcast cuts off, so he goes to call for his mum. But instead, he hears the news announcing the disease spreading. He keeps looking for his mum, and then Abigail, his sister, shows up. They go into their mum's room and find her talking to their dad on the phone. They grab the phone and talk to their dad. We find out he's a pilot, and he tells them to go with their mum to Aunt Carrie's house. They start getting ready to leave, but suddenly they hear screaming in the house. They rush out and head for the car, but a zombie attacks their mum and kills her. Abigail hides under the car while the zombie attacks Luke and kills him too. Abigail just sits there, watching, terrified. After a few minutes, the virus activates in her mum, so the mum gets up to attack Abigail. But suddenly, a cop shows up and shoots her, saving Abigail. 10 years later, we see Abigail with the cop who saved her, Cassius. They're in the woods, and suddenly a deer passes by. So Abigail shoots it. At night, they're sitting by a fire eating, and Cassius tells her they've got 39 seeds that fit the tropical climate, and the rest they can get from the garden city. In the middle of the night while they're sleeping, Cassius hears something outside. A zombie jumps on him, but he kills it right away. After that, they decide they gotta move, because now they know a whole pack of zombies is close by. All along the way, Cassius trains Abigail to fight and use weapons. While they're walking, they see from a distance a zombie attacking a guy's car. The car owner comes out to try and kill it, but he can't. Abigail is about to shoot the zombie from afar, but by mistake, she shoots the car owner and kills him. Cassius tells her, "Why'd you rush it?" Then he kills the rest of the zombies. They get closer to the car and start taking what they need. But suddenly, a bunch of cars show up, and some men and a woman get out. They think Cassius and Abigail killed the car owner to rob him. Cassius tries to explain, but they don't believe him. A woman named Megan gets out. She's pregnant, and she tries to calm things down. But right then, a huge horde of zombies attacks them. Cassius and the others try to fight them off, but there are too many. 2 of the group get bitten, and they keep fighting until everyone else dies. Abigail, Cassius, Megan, and her husband David escape in a car. As they're driving, Cassius asks Megan about her pregnancy, and she says she's in her last months. Suddenly, the car breaks down, so Cassius gets out to check the hood. David comes over and says the radiator's busted. So they decide to keep going on foot. They reach a city called Sun City and find an abandoned building. They go inside to check it out. Cassius says, "Let's just stay here for the night and leave tomorrow. The place is too exposed and dangerous." The next morning, they leave that building and find a safer one where they set up camp. That night, they're sitting around the fire, eating together. But Cassius doesn't feel comfortable having them along. Megan asks Abigail about where they're headed. Abigail says, "We're going to the west coast, and from there we'll take a boat to the islands." That night, Cassius goes outside and sets up a tripwire with a bell around the building, so they'll hear it if anything crosses it. When he comes back in, he hands Megan the map and tells them they should keep going without him. They ask him to stay, but he refuses. Later, Abigail talks to him, saying, "Maybe we'll need their company. We should help them." But he still refuses because he's wary of them. Meanwhile, the two guys who had been bitten turn, and they get up and immediately drive off in the car. The next morning, Abigail is sitting on the roof looking at her childhood photos when she hears a strange noise. She quickly goes down and finds a zombie inside the building. One zombie attacks her, but she manages to kill it. Meanwhile, David and Megan's friends arrive in the city, but Cassius and the others have already left before they got there. As they're walking, Abigail says she remembers this road. She and her dad used to come here and go to the airport, which is about an hour's walk away. She says there are planes there they can use to escape. But Cassius refuses, saying the road to the airport is too narrow, and if the zombies corner them, they'll all die. Still, the other three want to head to the airport. Cassius agrees, and they head out. On the way, they find a car with dead people inside. They open their bags and find a wheelchair, so they give it to Megan and keep going. They finally reach the airport. The place is totally empty, but Abigail knows where the storage room is. She goes there, opens it, and finds a plane inside. But the plane doesn't work. It's been sitting there unused for 10 years since the zombie outbreak started. ... Cassius gives Abigail a gun so she can protect herself, and the two of them go off to look for spare parts to fix the plane. They head out, start searching, and climb up to a high spot. And that's when Cassius sees a massive horde of zombies running toward the airport. They rush back down, jump into the plane, and Abigail tries to start it. She actually gets it going, but the plane moves really slowly at first, and the zombies keep coming after them. Then finally the plane takes off. While they're in the air, Abigail loses control of the plane. Part of it breaks, and it crashes down fast, hitting a tree. Luckily, nobody gets hurt. They climb out, but Megan is completely exhausted. They keep walking until they reach an abandoned train station, and keep going until they see a big gate. Cassius opens it, and once they realize the area is safe, he pulls out the map and explains the new plan. He says they need to head to a settlement on the riverbank, and that they can reach it in 2 days. They decide to spend the night at the station and leave at dawn. That night, Megan and David are together. David tells her to rest and then sneaks off somewhere else in the station. He tries to end his life because he feels like he can't protect his wife and their unborn child. We then see that his leg is wounded. He's infected with the zombie virus. At the same time, Cassius is talking to Megan about his wife and his life before the outbreak. By sunrise, the group leaves the station. While they're walking, David gets weak, and Megan tries to help him, but he yells at her and keeps walking. Megan and Abigail go ahead while David lags behind. Cassius grabs David, realizes he's infected, and tells him, "You have to die. Think about how you want me to kill you." Then he leaves him there and continues with the others. Later that night, they see a house and try to sneak in, but someone inside shines a bright light on them and asks who they are. Abigail steps forward and says, "We're peaceful people and we need help." The man opens the door and tells them to drop their weapons. Cassius and Abigail drop all their weapons, and he lets them in. He tells them he's an engineer, and they're surprised when they see he has electricity. He offers them food, but Cassius tells Abigail not to eat. Megan and David eat by themselves. Later, Cassius sits down and tries to comfort Megan because she's scared about her baby. She makes him promise to take care of the child if anything happens to her. Cassius promises. After they all sit together, the engineer brings them juice. They drink it, and Cassius asks about his life. The man says he's been living in this house with his wife for 20 years. When they ask about his wife, he doesn't answer. He starts collecting the empty glasses after they've drunk the juice. In the next scene, we see Cassius and the others tied up in the basement. They realize the engineer drugged them. He has a device that sends out signals to control zombies. While they're tied up, Megan notices David's leg and realizes he's infected. She gets scared. The engineer then says, "Didn't you ask about my wife? Here she is." We find out his wife has turned into a zombie and he's been keeping her locked up. But now he lets her out to eat them. The zombie wife attacks them fast, but Cassius fights her off. She turns toward David, but he also fights her off. Cassius frees the others, and they all escape in a car. On the road, Megan starts showing signs of labor and screaming. The zombies hear her and chase them. They're forced to leave the car and fight the zombies. David decides to sacrifice himself to save his wife and baby. He runs into the zombies so they'll attack him instead. Cassius carries Megan and runs. They make it to the settlement while the zombies are still chasing them. Abigail calls for help, and the settlement's guards see them, shoot the zombies, and send out a boat to rescue them. They get saved and help Megan deliver her baby. The next morning, we see the engineer arrive at the spot where David died. We find out he's now a zombie, but still able to control himself using the device. We also learn that the settlement is actually in a harbour in the sea, and it's called King's Port. Cassius goes to talk to George, the leader of the settlement. Later, Cassius tells Abigail not to go far because they'll be leaving at dawn. But she refuses to leave and says she wants to stay. He tells her he's not her father, and she storms off. Cassius is heartbroken. After that, he checks on Megan. She has given birth to a baby girl and decides to name her Hope. She asks Cassius to care for her like he cares for Abigail. He promises. She gives him her necklace, then passes away. A woman in the settlement named Olga takes the baby Hope from Cassius to care for her. Meanwhile, Abigail gets to know a young guy in the settlement. She spends time dancing and having fun. The next morning, the engineer controls a group of zombies and leads them to attack the entire settlement. Chaos breaks out at the harbour. The zombies start killing people, and the settlers fight back. There's a tunnel in the harbour, and George tells everyone to escape through it. Abigail and Cassius stay behind to fight the zombies. In the middle of the battle, Abigail hugs Cassius and apologizes to him. Suddenly, the engineer shows up with the zombies. The zombies knock down Abigail and throw Cassius aside. The engineer attacks Cassius, but Cassius grabs him and smashes the control device. The device breaks, and the zombies turn on the engineer and kill him. Abigail and Cassius escape through the tunnel that leads to the other side of the river. Before leaving, they blow up the harbour along with everyone still inside. But suddenly, a group of zombies attacks them. They almost kill Cassius, but Abigail shoots them and saves his life. Cassius hugs her. Olga shows up and hands them baby Hope. In the end, they decide to go look for a safe place to live, far away from the zombies, and start a new life built on hope. That's where the movie ends.